Welcome to Lykken on Lending, the podcast that dives deep into the heart of the mortgage industry. Your host, David Lykken, bringing you the latest insights, trends, and updates from the world of mortgages. Whether you're a seasoned industry veteran or just getting started, this show is your go-to source for all things mortgage. Let's get started. This is Lykken on Lending. Now your host, David Lykken.
Listeners, I'm a part of Lenders One. It's such an honor to be a part of this organization. And there's some exciting announcements. We now have Rick Seehausen, who is the president of Lenders One. We're going to be interviewing him today. I'm really excited about his perspective. He's a 30-plus year veteran of the industry, and he's leading Lenders One, and we're expecting some really exciting things. And let's get into talking with him. Rick, good to have you joining us.
Yeah, David, it's great to be here. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Congratulations. Yeah, that's an honor to have you, Rick. And it was so much fun running into you last week in Austin at the various conferences where you were going back and forth. It was great seeing you. And congratulations on becoming the new president of Lenders One. I want to start off by talking a little bit about your background, what led you to this role, and how your background is going to help serve the members of Lenders One.
Thanks, David. And again, it's an honor to be here. I've been passionate my entire career since founding Lender Live back in the late 90s about helping financial institutions.
That was a really good, that was a great company. That was a very innovative, forward thinking. That's right. Lenders Live.
Yeah, there was definitely a day that we were ahead of our time for sure. And we built a good business and a great team and was real proud of the work that we did with financial institutions to help them develop skill and scale in an industry where smaller institutions were suffering at competing with some of the larger institutions. And that problem hasn't really changed over the decades since building that business. And I've been passionate about it since the early stages of my career. And that's really part of the Lenders One mission, is really helping lenders compete in an ever-changing environment. And certainly what we're seeing here today is certainly a rapidly changing environment for sure.
That's an understatement.
It really is. And it's a great organization. The team that is at Lenders One is fantastic. I've got nothing but great things to say about them. I know when we did a previous call with you, you were complimentary of the team as well. I know you've worked with them for a lot of years.
Great team.
Yeah. And then lastly, I'm really thrilled with our chairman CEO's commitment to the business. I flew out to Luxembourg to meet with him. We spent 11 straight hours. Yeah, I spent 11 straight hours with Bill, and we never ran out of things to talk about. I don't know if I could spend 11 straight hours with my best friend and not run out of things to talk about. So,
Bill's got that kind of personality. Bill is great. I've had that privilege of sitting down talking to him on a number of occasions, and I'm really impressed with his commitment to the industry. And he has a real clear vision. And now that you've been there for 60 days in this new role, I'm really interested in getting some insights to what themes and priorities have surfaced early on for you and at the cooperative.
Look, what I'm going to say is probably going to seem pretty obvious, right? Our focus is really pretty basic, and it's the whole nature of the cooperative, which is let's grow and strengthen the business. Let's build new members into the cooperative. What attracts members to the cooperative is what provides them a return on their investment. The return on their investment typically comes from capital markets advantages or cost savings through providers that are dedicated and selected to be part of the cooperative. And so growing our membership base should be a fundamental objective of any cooperative or any association. Increasing the return on investment for those members is an obvious deliverable that they expect and we plan to deliver on. And so strengthening and fortifying both the capital markets advantage and the supplier advantages that come from our provider network is really important. And as you know well, the landscape for a lot of that has changed a lot on the capital markets side. Lenders One is 6 years old, and 26 years ago, we all remember there was a difference from the GSEs in terms of how they provided pricing advantages to the larger financial institutions. And that typically showed up in the form of G fees, right? Post-financial crisis, the the playing field got leveled on that. Lenders One was really founded on the notion that as a collective, we represent a large section of the mortgage industry, recognize that, and give us the same collective advantages. And that worked well for many years. And it still does. Today, we're 250 members. We represent about 20% of the mortgage origination market. That's a significant opportunity for the right investors and the right suppliers for that.
When you look at some of the themes of what people are needing or hoping, has there been a shift, in your opinion, from what you anticipated to what you're experiencing there?
I think for sure there has. At the cooperative level, at least, we have shifted more from a capital markets advantage, which again, the industry shift has made that more challenging, to provider advantages. And we do that both through preferred providers that join our network, as well as our own Lenders One or L1 solutions that we offer to the community.
We should run through some of those again, because I don't think everyone that's outside of Lenders One may not be aware of some of those solutions.
Yeah. And I wasn't here. I'm 9 weeks now on the job, so a lot of this predated me. But I think it was wise along the way. Every business that meets changes in the industry or adversity has to adopt and overcome, or it will die. And Lenders One is no exception to that. And so as time evolved and the landscape shifted, one of the things that we identified was an opportunity as an organization to take on a little bit more risk, accounts receivable risk. And rather than referring a member to a provider, we became a reseller of those services. And they're typically the commoditized.
And that was a shift from the early days. That's a shift from the earlier days, which, but it shows ownership and more commitment to the services that the solutions that you're bringing to the lender members.
And it made a big difference. We're now, with the members that have adopted L1 solutions, we've saved them nearly $15 million. So it's not a small number in terms of what we're able to be able to provide to our membership base there. There's a lot of solutions out there, though, that are not commoditized solutions, that are unique and specific to top tier providers. And we want to bring those partners and those relationships to the table as well.
As you look ahead, what is your strategic vision for Lenders One?
Yeah, I want our members and through our regional directors, which is a great group of folks that I've gotten to know better in the short time that I've been here. Through our regional directors, I want our members to really gain a lot of trust in their knowledge and have a belief that if they need something, a service, a product, questions around technology solutions, that they can go to their regional director as a point of contact and get directed to a good solution that we trust and we value, and be able to make those introductions. So I want to really enhance the advocacy side of what we are as a cooperative to our membership base. And again, we want to make sure that those trusted partners are delivering on the ROI proposition of what makes the cooperative work.
How do you envision the evolution across the member benefits of the products and capital markets? Is there an evolutionary process you anticipate? Because we're fast, like you said earlier at the beginning, we're fast evolving.
Yeah. So again, the landscape has changed. I would tell you that for many years, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, for example, were great supporters of the cooperative. In the current administration and the day that we live in today, that's just likely not going to happen. But both of them have, however, expressed sincere dedication and support to providing our members benefits. And so I'm actively engaged with both of them to really peel that apart and figure out what can we do to develop a member benefit. On the non-agency side, there's a little bit more flexibility there, and we're certainly looking to bring innovative opportunities to our members. And where they need help in the execution of that, Lenders One is there to help them with that execution, right? We have a fulfillment business, for example, that can help them with some of the complexities of products that maybe they're not accustomed to originating, and
that's a really important
back office support on. Yeah,
that's an important one, especially for the smaller companies that are coming, the new entrants coming into that, to be able to have that back office support and fulfillment which is again used to provide a Lenders Live, that you're now getting to be able to do at a bigger scale here. I'm interested in seeing your perspective on what are some of the game changers that lenders are facing right now and in the future? We know AI is there. We know that we're seeing more innovative, new non-QM type product coming in. So I'm really interested in what you're seeing, your perspective now.
Yeah, I was gonna start with AI because I do think that's a game changer, but I actually flipped it a little bit. I'm gonna say the biggest game changer I think is that consolidation is making the big bigger.
Yes, that's right.
And
Yeah.
in their scale and their access to capital and the resources that they have to implement AI solutions, I think is a competitive threat to some of the smaller institutions on the community bank, the credit union, and the IMB front. I just listened to your podcast, actually, you recently did with Tim Root, and
Yes, that's right.
that was fantastic. And I made note that he had an AI element that he talked about in that podcast. And when you asked him about what's going on in Washington, he made comment about community banks and smaller
Yes.
financial institutions continuing to be relevant in mortgage.
Yeah. And they're growing in their relevance, is what it seems like. Yeah.
And when you couple that with my second game changer, which is AI, it really comes down to the enablement of AI, right? These larger institutions with greater resources are going to be successful first at adopting new technologies and deploying them. And look, you and I have been doing this for a long time. You were kind to actually reference 30 years. It's been a little bit longer than that for me. But in our era, and I think we talked about this at the conference, in our era, it's never gone beyond 7 to 9 loans per FTE per month. It's been that for 4 decades now. The cost has gone up because wages have gone up, but the productivity level has remained the same. I truly believe AI is going to be a game changer to that, and it could be a multiplier of 4 to 5 times more efficiency when everything's said and done. Now, if suddenly the big lenders are producing loans for 100 basis points cheaper than a community bank or a credit union or a smaller IMB is able to do, that's going to be really hard for that institution to be able to be relevant and compete in the mortgage space.
Yeah,
and I'm working on things and focused on things there.
Yeah, I really think this is one of the advantages of companies that they're a size that really fit nicely inside of Lenders One, because I think there's more agility there. I think there's, especially when you can pool the resources that you have there and the services and the solutions, it starts giving advantages that allows the smaller guys. Not that you're limited to smaller guys. You've got some good-sized companies a part of Lenders One, but you really do have an advantage to compete more effectively as you're going through that. I'm interested in the makeup. Are you seeing a change in the makeup of members, regulated institution versus IMBs at Lenders One? Are we seeing one come in, start being more, the growth is more in one area than another?
I am committed to making that change. I don't know if it would naturally occur, but the Lenders One team and I are committed to focusing on some growth opportunities with community banks and credit unions, as well as continuing to grow IMBs. Today, we're just around 70% IMB and the remainder being depository institutions. And I do see that there's a bigger opportunity for us to serve those depository institutions. Absolutely.
I think there's a good opportunity too, Rick, when it comes to bringing them in, and they have access to all these originators. So as they start looking at what their sweet spot is and creating products that might not fit with the agencies, that they now have origination source. So I don't think anyone hearing this should see that as a negative. That's an IMB. I think this opens up more exposure to community lenders. And I'm thinking of one particular individual who's done a very innovative thing within the area of credit unions, because some credit unions you say, I just want the product. I don't want to originate it. So I think there's a real opportunity here for you. And so I'm really pleased to hear you saying that.
Yeah, what you're referencing, I think, is our objective here to expand our fulfillment offering into a fully managed solution, very similar to what we had at Lender Live, and then ultimately PHH also had, and we merged those two businesses together back in the day. And the full private label, fully managed solution where the financial institution can focus on the consumer engagement, managing their credit policy and their credit box that they want to originate loans to, and funding those loans and then servicing those customers, where the rest of the back office, the tech stack, the implementation of AI, all of those things can be provided through us and through our partner network.
You guys put on some amazing events. You have great
Yeah, thank you.
speakers, the workshops that are there, the community, the networking is some of the best. Talk about what we have to look forward to in the months ahead with Lenders One and the activities you have planned and the events you have planned.
You're right. We do put on amazing events. Ironically, I was day 5 on the job when I stood up on stage at our first one. So that was
Yes.
that was interesting. It was an amazing event. I think with anything, period, in life or otherwise, there's always room for improvement. And so we've taken a lot of good feedback from our providers, good feedback from our members on ways that we can enhance certain things. And so we're not just going to continue to repeat things over and over again, but we're not going to give up on the things that we know are proven to work either. We are looking to expand our events. We'll take a baby step there by going
Really? Good.
from three roundtables this year are scheduled. We will have 4 roundtables next year for
go ahead. Talk about those roundtables because those have been really impactful for those that have participated in them.
Yeah, great question. Thanks for asking, because we just had one in San Antonio at Hotel Emma. It was fantastic. We had about over 40 attendees at that. These are members. We had 1 or 2 provider sponsors that were very gracious in being able to help us financially support the event. We had Freddie Mac, a representative from Freddie Mac, in for a half a day, and that was incredibly valuable to the members. It's an open dialogue. It's an exchange. I really don't feel that the members that are in the room are concerned about competitive threats or anything else. People were quite open in their dialogue. I asked Tricia afterwards to solicit a few comments from the members, and some of them were just really overwhelmingly positive in terms of what they felt that they got out of that. We're gonna continue to do that, and we're gonna do more regional events. And so the regional directors are going to be tasked to get local lunch and learns, maybe happy hour events, things of that nature, where we can bring our membership together in that regard as well.
That's good. I'm really pleased to hear the more of the local, because sometimes a lot of people can't make it to all the big events, the annual events. And so if you're doing this more regionally, I would think that to be a great advantage. You mentioned Tricia. She's a dear friend, Tricia Migliazzo. Talk a little bit about the team that was reporting to you. You've got some great talent. And I know everyone I've talked to is so excited about your leadership and what you bring. It's a refreshing change. And I don't mean that negatively about that, but it's been a refreshing to see a new approach to it. So talk a little bit about your team and what your thoughts are about them.
I said this in sincerity earlier today on a call I was on with Tricia, that I'm not quite sure I'd be here if it wasn't for her. Her knowledge and her support and the history she brings with the cooperative.
Yes.
Is really remarkable. I'm a big team believer, as we had a great team at Lender Live, maybe some of the best executives in the country, and they've all gone on and are in leadership roles all over the industry.
Yes, they are.
People matter a lot. And so I've got Tricia.
Yeah, go ahead, Tricia. And
Tricia Panit is running operations on our reseller solutions. I brought in Stephen Boney, who ran operations for PHH when we acquired PHH, BLS business, a super solid guy. Dave Sale is now overseeing the national programs. Dave has spent his entire career, starting at GMAC Homecomings, for me at Lender Live, and then again for me at Cherry Creek, managing our vendor management office. And so he spent his whole career procuring the services that lenders need. No better person to run the national programs and know what our lenders need.
Yeah, and he's got all these guys, all the people that you're talking about just got solid backgrounds, and you bring them in the area of strength and their background. That's outstanding, Rick. Any growth in that group over the next year or so? Do you see more opportunities for people that want to come to work for Lenders One?
That's a great question. As we start to build out the fully managed platform. There's going to be a lot of investments that we're going to make in technology. In that scenario, we take on compliance management for our clients. And so we're going to build deeper and stronger in the compliance side of our business. And we've got to be familiar with the NCUA's regulations versus the OCC's regulations. All of these entities have different requirements that we've got to adhere to. And so there'll definitely be a deeper bench in that front as well.
Yeah, not to mention the complexity. Now we have basically 50, with each state having their own mini CFPB inside of them now. The complexity, that's the part that you guys are growing. Rick, I'm really excited about you being there. I'm really excited about your leadership. I'm really grateful that you took some time to be here with us. As you look at the opportunities, the challenges, I would love to get your thoughts on the challenges you feel our industry is facing. We kind of touched on it with AI. We talked a little bit about that, but what is it that you see as the biggest challenges that Lenders One can really help them overcome?
Yeah, again, I think it is having a trusted cooperative, a trusted partner when you join Lenders One, that when you need to understand and know who the top tier providers are in any particular area, that you can go and access that information. It is, in some cases, the solutions we deliver that will help some of our institutions remain competitive as the landscape continues to change. Sometimes remaining competitive is adopting solutions, technology and otherwise, AI and otherwise. And many institutions will be successful doing that, while others, and you highlighted this a minute ago in our conversation, depositories are not in business to produce mortgage loans. They're in business to lend on deposits. But mortgage companies, on the other hand, are in business to produce mortgage loans. And so as the world and the landscape changes, providing an alternative for the depositories in particular, where they can access a managed solution that gives them all the tools that they need in order to remain relevant and competitive with their customer base. That's a big focus of mine and for Lenders One, and I've spent 30 years focused on that. So
yeah,
I know it.
I don't think anyone's better qualified to take Lenders One to the next level, and I'm thrilled to get the chance to meet you in person last week and have you here on the podcast today. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it very much.
Yeah, thank you so much, David. I really appreciate it.
Thrilled to be a part of an outstanding organization. Encourage anyone listening to this, if you're contemplating being part of a co-op, this is the one you want to get next to. Everyone that goes to these events comments about the networking. They create an environment where, and that's been there since the foundation of this organization, is creating a community that networks and talks and shares best practices with each other. Rick, I'm excited again for your leadership. Thanks for being here, friend.
Yeah, thank you, David. I really appreciate it.
You bet. Folks, I hope you enjoyed this interview. Let me know what you think. I'd love to get your support for this organization, Lenders One. And if you should go check them out, I know they will let you in and have, if you mention this podcast, they'll let you attend one of these events for free. And then you'll get a chance to get some exposure. And after that, you're going to want to get all the way in. Also want to say a special thank you to our sponsors who made this podcast possible. First Close, Title Ease, Byte Software, Angel AI, True, Candid, Mortgage Bankers Association of America, Lenders One, Modex, Redder, Mortgage Advisory Tools, and Fuel Link. Folks, have a great rest of your day and look forward to having you back here for another podcast here shortly.
You've been listening to Lykken on Lending. Our passion is to bring you the latest insights, trends, and updates from the world of mortgages. So on this show, if you're a seasoned industry veteran or just getting started, it's your go-to source for all things mortgage. We hope you've enjoyed the show. We'll be back soon. Take care, and we'll see you next time on Lykken on Lending.